But again, you've got 3 businesses there, and if,
The good thing
4
about the 2 to
businesses.
3, what allows to set up is 3.
It's
If
only
we get
till 5
complaints,
o'clock.
and it's only till 5 o'clock, which I
Yeah.
get that too,
Yeah.
but that's when the
Not
attorney's
weekdays.
open and that's when the vet's open too. You know, so I get it. I would be okay with 2. But I truly would recommend to them to use the east side of their building, cause that's got a handicap access to get right into that and be right at that door too.
I wouldn't
On
want
the
to park there
Washington
if I
Street
was,
side,
if, on the east side there.
on the Washington Street side.
Right, I wouldn't wanna park there and try to get a walker out and get up there and get to,
it's not flat, it's elevated.
It is elevated pretty.
yeah.
My wife, I can't stop there and
Yeah.
get her
That's
to
true.
go up there. I'd like to see it go with the 3, and if it's not being used right, we have the right to be able to pull one of the signs away and take it down to 2.
I'd rather do 2 personally, cause there's other businesses there that I wanna
So the
protect their rights
request is
to.
for 3?
It's,
2
they
or 3.
specifically asked for 2 or 3, and that's how we made the resolution, was 2 or 3.
I'd like to see us stay at 2.
I would support 2, and I would support 2 reluctantly, because I think it sets a precedent. Like, it's not the city's job to ensure that they have specific parking on a public street. That's just, you go to the parkade, it's not like Pablo's reserves 2 parking spots.
You
So I
know,
can-
I would, you know what, I'm almost gonna back off of mine for this too, because if we talk about this, we're gonna go back to the 7th Street discussion, that public parking is not a private business, you know, a private business.
So, yeah, wait a minute, I'm sorry, unpack this a little bit for me. So is this street parking?
Yes.
And this just happens to be in front of a private business and they wanna designate areas that are on the street that we control specifically for their parking?
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
we
won't like
really
that.
shouldn't be getting involved in that.
Even though they're a therapy operation.
It doesn't matter if they're a therapy or a lotto or a doctor's office or a lawyer's office, or it doesn't matter who it is. They bought a building in front of a public street. We can't designate certain portions of a street for a private owner, otherwise you are a slippery slope. Every single building's gonna say,
Right.
start designating
Okay.
these lots directly in front of my building.
Kate,
Now,
Do, in light of that discussion, do we have a motion and a second already on the floor?
we
Roll
do.
call,
No, we don't.
yes, we
Yes,
do.
we do.
roll call.
No.
All right. Sewell,
So we're voting?
Yes,
Okay, based on the most recent feedback, I'm gonna say nay.
Wyatt,
No.
Reister,
No.
Lawson,
No.
Buns.
No.
Motion fails 5-0.
so we'd love to have the city attorney once in a while.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't catch that earlier.
Hey,
I
is
just,
it-
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of it as 7th Street.
Let me ask
Yeah.
a follow-up question to it. If that private business wanted to put out a sign such as, please consider allowing this spot for our patients,
they can put that in their window.
okay? I just wanna know, where
They
can they
can-
put such a
They
sign?
can advertise in their window that they like that, they can tell their, I mean, it's no different than my business in downtown Waterloo. I don't get to block off the beaters that are in front of my law firm. If somebody from Screaming Eagle, 2 blocks down the street, takes the 3 spots in front of my office, then my people gotta park a block and a half down the street.
Do we have any requirements on that street for handicap parking spots?
So that's an ADA compatible thing, and that's probably a DOT analysis on whether or not we're compliant with handicap accessible spots.
I would have to assume now, this could, you know what assuming does to a person, that when they did the streetscape back in the 80s and
And-
changed all those and did the worst job ever of putting any parking for any businesses to wanna be in our downtown, that they would have designated as many handicap spots as they had to
But
at
in
that point.
1992, with the regulations for
Did they
ADA
change?
being totally different than they are 30-some years later.
So,
Could be.
I mean, you would be first off, there's the potential that someone with a disability could file a complaint because we do not have enough of those on that street, right? And then they're gonna come and investigate it, and then they're gonna send us a letter the feds send us a letter that says, this is how you need to fix this, and we get a certain number of days in order to fix it, in order to make it compliant. you wanna get on the front end of that, then you hire an analysis of it to figure out whether or not you don't have enough spots.
I would think our city engineer might be able to, for a reasonable amount
Give
of
you an
cost, be able to
analysis.
give us an analysis, because if we are deficient, we would also wanna find out where would that one or two spots need to be, because we could place them in front of Millennium.
Correct.
The other
Okay,
question I would have is, the approaches to the sidewalk, what do we have in place for that? And are we doing our best not to allow parking in front of those areas that are best for people, that are in a handicapped situation to make their approach to the sidewalk?
Could we, or just like anywhere else, set a 2-hour time limit between the hours of 8 to 5 so that somebody's not parking there all day?
You absolutely could do that by ordinance.
You know what I mean? That, just like we do in other places that, I mean, Cedar Falls does that. Now, are you guys gonna go chalk tires and do all that? Does it become,
Yeah, who's gonna police it?
right, a police an issue? But it would be a benefit that could be if there was huge,
and that would be a case of, maybe one of the things we do is some unofficial just observation. Do we have a lot of parking there that's for all day?
right,
Because, our employees of some of those offices or those buildings actually parking in front when they could be a block away, so.
or on the east side where you can.
Right. So a little bit of.
Yeah,
research.
I would, but there's also some other things that we should be doing as a city, and sidewalk inspections, because there's a couple that are really bad that we know of that need to be fixed, and we're not enforcing those either, that somehow we've gotta get on
Well, the
those.
one up there, we've got lots of paperwork going on.
The
don't
post
we?
office one, by,
Without
or
any
the-
results
That's
from
Central
the-
Link, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And there's a couple others, there's one over by the old
one
DX,
in front of our house.
yeah, that need to be tagged and fixed, because that is the property owner's responsibility to make sure those are up to date. And, I noticed Jefferson Street's got some old trees too, but we gotta have somebody that has the time to go do it too, so I get that.
Okay,
Jeez, this meeting's going long. Sorry.
F.
item F, thank you. Discussion action,
I'm just kidding.
Shut up from here on out.
discussion action to approve resolution 3081, a resolution setting a public hearing for amendment of the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2022, and the public hearing would be June 26th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Bunce.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item G, discussion action to approve resolution 3082, resolution for approval of contract for Wood Street reconstruction project for the city of Hudson, Iowa.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Roll call.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Bunce.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Number of informational items, regular scheduled meetings are held at the council chambers except for the library board. Public Works is June 14th, that was canceled, right?
Yep.
Mayor's Task Force has been canceled. Public Safety Committee meeting, June 22nd at 4 p.m.
Maybe.
And Personnel Admin Finance Committee, June 26th at 4:45 p.m. Next council meeting is June 26th and July 10th at 6 p.m. Do you hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn and go buy fireworks.
Hear a second?
No, I'd like to stay longer. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you
Thank
all.
you, everyone.